We do have an agenda. If you'll take a look at that. Anybody have things for the agenda? Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, just one item, I could do it, whenever I didn't get to it last Tuesday.
Go up to the resolution.
Sure.
Go ahead, Jim.
Just that I sat in on that hearing for the law enforcement at the Senate Indian Affairs thing, so I could give a little report on that.
Oh, thank you. And we have one walk-in, right, Jennifer? One walk-in. Yeah, Tom?
Motion to approve today's agenda with additions.
Motion by Tom to approve the agenda. Can I get a second? Second by James, all in favor? Good. Can't see all the hands. I'm hoping you're in favor. Unanimous. There's Bing. Cool.
Jennifer said that voting yes all the time.
Okay. Well, we'll go with the walk-in and,
That will need to go in executive,
we'll go into.
and I got Patricia Crochane on for that.
Okay, we'll go out of regular into executive. Got some doors. Two meetings in a row, way behind schedule.
Hey, but I got mine yet.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Come on up, Pat.
Morning.
Morning, Pat. Morning, Steve. Morning, Mark.
Do you want to talk to them first or?
Don't go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm here today just we got a request from Corville Logging to extend, their contract dates. Pretty much just like the, last one that I discussed. You know, the winter that we've had has been pretty mild. And, so yeah, we're just, asking to get it extended to January 1st, 2025. There is a, issue with, timing restrictions. Basically, he has everything done, processed. He needs to finish hauling is all it is, but the timing restriction is up at April 1st. So if we, grizzly bear wildlife timing restriction. So if we can't, work with wildlife, then we'll need to wait till, November 30th for him to get that out. We're hoping that possibly he'd get it out by, the end of next week. But just just to be safe, we're asking for the extension, the modification to the contract per the resolution.
Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, I'm just curious, have you talked to Rick Enius about the impact of the tribal budget? This is a whole year, isn't it? Aren't we talking?
Yeah, I suppose it is, yeah. But
That's been an issue in the past to
Ye-
make sure
yeah.
that we are
Yeah.
able to meet our budget projections.
and
But way past the date.
right, and yeah, and we are talking probably about 10 loads, 5 or 10 loads, but no, I should probably reach out to him though. But yeah, it's nothing real big, but yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
We are working with the county that they're gonna work with us and allow us to haul on the road, even though there's weight limits on the road at this point. So they're gonna allow us, he's trying to get all the pine out of there, cause the pine wouldn't last a year after it was cut. So the priority is hauling the pine out and getting it to, Pyramid before they're gonna take logs until the end of the month. And so he's got that contract with them, and then he's got Doug Fur to pull out, and we think he might be able to get it all out, but just in case he can't, then the Doug fir would, the whatever decks we couldn't get out, might be 3 or 4, up to maybe 10,
Yeah,
up to 10 deck or 10 loads of wood that would come out in November.
and there is a possibility that we can work with wildlife staff and our IDT to see if they could make an exception and give us an extra week. I think he's saying that he might just need another week or two to get it all done, but that's something we'll have to discuss with IDT, so.
Other questions? Go Mark.
Is,
Mark.
is the closure of Pyramid gonna affect other contracts coming in?
Not our current contracts. I'm not aware of what mills, the purchasers of Jetty, where they're going at this point.
So,
Actually, that I. I'm not getting the motion, guys.
Oh, Mr. Chair, I'd make the motion to try to capitalize, at least getting stuff to Pyramid before they close, pending your approval with wildlife and the county on the roads.
Got a motion. Second by Martin. All in favor? I'm gonna say unanimous. There's Bing. Thank you.
yeah, that's all I had. Thank you, Steve. You had something else?
Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a real quick update. It'll take me a minute. On our tree planting, we had an ad in the Charcusta advertising for tree planters. I personally wasn't real optimistic that we'd get a lot of response to that, but I was proven wrong. We've got today is the last day for applications to come in. We've got 35 complete tribal applications and 7 non-member complete applications. And there were still more coming in this morning. We're trying to get 30 tree planters. So we're gonna have to choose now the 30 tree planters that we're gonna put on for our planting operation. We're gonna have, you know, it always works out, hire that many individuals, a couple are gonna fall out for some reason. So we're gonna have plenty of backup to fill in those slots, we hope, throughout the duration of the tree planting season. So I thought that was good news that we've got a lot of people out there that wanna go out and work and do some tree planting.
Go ahead, Len.
Any reason why we just can't hire them all?
Well, one reason is, we don't have transportation for all of them. Right now we got 2 vans and 2 6-packs set aside. The 2 6-packs are coming out of fire. It's there could be the option to bring them more on. I think there's probably enough work for them to do. The problem is we don't have a lot of experienced crew leader types to take them all out. So I will go back and talk to my tree planting guys and see if that is an option, depending on how many acres we're gonna do. We'd like to start with the 30 to see how it works out. And if it works out to where we can have 2 20-man crews, we can still bring them on.
Bus you can rent? No.
He was my boss when I was tree planting.
I went and got anybody I could, right?
Yeah, I remember $2 an hour.
Hey, come on now. Come on. I got rich. No.
I'm certainly glad to hear that. We have so much trouble trying to fill a lot of vacancies right now, so that is good news, Steve.
Yeah, I think it is too, and I'm hoping that some of these guys will turn to, you know, firefighting too, because they're advertising for positions there also. So after, you know, this is gonna last 6 weeks maybe, and then after that, the fire season should be starting up, and maybe we'll have a good outturn for that too.
Well, thank you.
All right, good news.
Jen?
Ruth is on that hearing, so Mark can go next.
Come on up, Mark.
Good morning, Chairman and Council. So Tribal Lands wanted to come in today to have a discussion. We've been working with Austin Allen out of the USDA NRCS office, Joel Claremont for the Flathead Water rights compact that we have, and the Water Rights Board, Seth Makepeace, and that, trying to come up with a design for a irrigation system down at Buffalo Bridge. We've been tasked to try to come up with a quantitative value of the water. Ethan, I think it was, who just retired just a couple weeks ago or transferred to somewhere else. He had given us the best type of report on paying for the water. It's not like the operation and maintenance of the irrigation system. So it was kind of hard to put a value to it. Whatever he found, the majority of it was from the Blackfoot River, where they pay the irrigators money not to irrigate. So it was reverse than what we're looking at here. The amount of money that they were paying was pretty substantial amount to have them not irrigate. And they looked at California. California was the same way. When we were looking at it and had the discussion within our group, Seth, Ethan, myself, Austin, we were looking at the scenario with, and AJ. What ended up coming up was that we needed to bring in with some kind of dollar amount what we should be charging. Couple weeks ago, Dan had stopped me, Dan Decker had stopped me about it and asked if what the value was, what we were looking at and thinking of paying, because what the lessee wants is a very high quantitative amount of water at a very low rate. We felt that it should still be based right now, since it's the first project we're doing, should still have that same base pay as what O&M is right now per acre, because we don't know how much water he will be using in 1 year, and we do not know, if we're even charging appropriately. So we felt that I felt, and Dan said, because they've had the discussions before, that they wanted it up in that $40 range. And that's right around what the O&M is right now. And I feel that that's adequate, that what's being paid right now per acre is $40 per acre would be the adequate price for the water system coming out of there for at least the first year. And then we can figure it out doing the research on how many how many cubic yards were out, acre feet, I should say, came out of the river. So we could get that adjusted if needed, if it needs to be regulated differently, because we don't even know exactly how much water he will be utilizing, since it's on demand. He may be using less water than what we even put in the contracts. We want to be able to adjust these. So we have the contract almost done. We just need that dollar amount, what we should be charging for the water.
You have a quantity of water in the contract?
He was requesting 500 acre feet or something like that. I don't have it in front of me right now. Seth and those guys had that paperwork. The amount of water that he wanted, Dan said, was a substantial amount of water. That's for both of the fields down there on down by Buffalo Bridge. With that, that's where we were needing to know because he may want to be reserving water for the future in that contract, but he may not use that full amount. So we don't know exactly how much he's going to be getting out. So we don't want to put $1 per cubic foot this year or anything on it, because it may be way less than what the amount is that he uses, or he might be trying to reserve extra water for future. So they wanted to find out what he would be using in water this year. And I feel that's a good way to look at it, is what he would be needing, and then we can adjust from there.
Any thoughts? I think it's pretty clear he'll be using irrigation equipment that is very comparable to everywhere else. That we will be aware of how much water everybody else is getting in the areas. And the O&M rate would pay for basically that same amount of water per year, defined by what's getting used otherwise. And if he actually accesses more, then proportionately more in price is what I would think.
Yeah, that's
don't know.
what we were looking at. But like we said, we don't know. We don't want to reserve a lease right now for 5 or 10 years with a quantitative amount of water that he may never get. Because then that's just reserving water for future. And we don't want to, we want to make sure it's usable and not being set aside for one individual.
Well, just looking at it, for the O&M rate, same as everybody else.
Yep.
He gets the same amount of water and it's cut off there every year. Unless he wants more, and then you charge him proportionately more for that water, but only for the year. I don't understand this reserving. Go ahead, Tom.
So Mark, if you go up on the bench where there's delivery occurring nearby,
Yes.
what is their acre feet limit?
I would have to take a look at that, what it is. Because it's pretty much standard through FIP. I would have to reach out to Eric down at FIP to get that, what the acre feet is.
It
And
would seem like it'd be normal there. When
Yeah,
you get down
it's
to
normal.
Louise, they're like, they get double, triple, 5 times the amount of acre feet because it's
the
such
standing.
porous
Yeah.
gravel. This looks like it's tight clay, so I would think that,
Yeah, so it'll be the same amount as what we're gonna be assessing is what he'd be able to pull out of the river. But that's what his request was, and when we had the meeting, we just didn't feel at Lands that was, appropriate. We thought paying by the acre for the amount that you were metered and used, and the same amount as everywhere else. You can't, because he doesn't know exactly yet either what he will be using.
sure, well, it makes sense because what he was after is reliability.
Yes.
And because you couldn't count on anything get delivered down there. So it makes sense that should be the same as if there was water delivered there.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's all we wanted to make sure of, and then we can just finish the contract with the dollar amount of what the O&M cost is this year. And then we will pass it through the chain, through legal and everybody else to get it approved. So that was the update on that one. The next update that we have, I'm actually gonna pass it over to Tara. I will just say that it's about the powwow grounds and management, so we have some discussion points on this that we wanted to bring up.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and council members. So I have some quick questions. The powwow grounds again is coming up. Issues are usually the same, but I'm starting to get in requests to utilize it. One would be from Tribal Health. They're wanting to do a midnight hoops. We are doing applications right now, but we just want to run it by you to make sure we are asking for the right stuff, making sure that we are going to be the ones that would hand them the keys. We just want to get a good chain of command. So that way we're not sending everybody into 5 different spots or requesting different keys from 5 different people. So one of the things in the applications that we are asking is, are you a tribal member? 2, description. 3, are you going to need, the water, power, things like that? If they are, then it would be up to them to pay that month. Or if it's just a week or however long, we just want to adjust things as we can to make fit. Obviously, Tribal Health isn't a tribal entity, but there are other entities that do request to utilize the powwow grounds, whether it is in Arlee or Elmo. So one of the requests, like I said, would be, we'll just start with this one. Midnight hoops. And right now they're requesting Arlee powwow grounds. they are requesting for June 19th, 2024. So far, everything seems to be working out there. We've checked on things and everything's good to go. They're requesting power and water. Now, if for some reason something does happen, we can get in touch, say there's a fire, things like that. They do understand that that's first come, first serve, if we do have to use the power grounds for that. We make it very clear that that's always gonna be there, so they are under that understanding. This would be a free use because it is tribal entity and it's for youth. They obviously have all the insurance and things like that. But if for some reason they can't have water or things happen, they are willing to get porta potties. So they are, good with that. But yeah, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are when these do come in. Do you want it to start at lands? Or, would this be something that we need to push off to somebody else? I just figured we need to get this ball rolling and we do have an application process started.
Thoughts? Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Tara, the Midnight Hoops, are they gonna do them under the arbor?
Yes, they are.
They are.
Yep, that's what they're requesting is under the arbor. I asked if they wanted to utilize, one of the concession stands if need be. She said she was looking into possibly, and she'd get back to me on that. But otherwise, I think they would just use just the outskirts of it if they were to have anybody come in for food.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Bing.
yeah, say, I believe too that the concession stand they usually use is the one that's right in under the arbor there. Yeah, so that's probably what they'll use. They won't use one of the bigger ones over there in the, where the concession stands are. And also, I believe you're gonna come in with a request here in the next couple of days to use the Powell grounds for about 4 hours for a Easter egg hunt on Saturday just before Easter. So they talked to me and I said, you better go talk to Lance first before you do that because there might be some issues there. But they only use it for about 4 hours every year and then they're out of there. They clean it all up and everything after they're done. So they're gonna come and see you.
Okay, do you know who the contact person is for that?
Yeah, my granddaughter, Kayleen Adams.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I can, if she doesn't reach out to me, I can try to reach out to her and we can at least make sure that we have everything in place for them. That should be no issues. Last year, I know it was kind of an issue just because we did have a lot of like the wires and we did have construction stuff on site, but this year, yeah, I don't see an issue, but okay, thank you, Bing.
Other thoughts? Sounded like you had all the bases covered there, Tara.
So the next is, since this was like a tribal one, entity requesting this. Now, when it comes to, we were looking at the expansion on the powwow grounds a couple years ago when tribal lands got the management of the powwow grounds, of expanding into year-round use for other events or anything else, if it's a stick game or if it's a tournament of some kind or concert, camping and whatnot. So that's the other one, is how you want us to charge, because we know that there's going to be a separate charge for if they're just camping without power or waters or anything, they just utilize it in their own facility, or if they're using power, the showers, the bathroom, and so forth. So we are needing a valuation on what we should be charging per day, if they're tribal member, non-tribal member, RV hookups, and whatnot. We could base it off of like the state rates for the state parks, what they use for Montana residents and non-residents, how they do the paying on that. But we just need to get council's consensus or approval just to be moving forward with what we should be charging on those sites.
Is anybody aware of values. I would like to see you come in with a representation of maybe some of those values of those different things, and definitely Blue Bay has the same sort of stuff. Go ahead, Don.
I was gonna mention that Blue Bay has a fee schedule, so does the Bison Range.
I'll get with, Todd then,
Yeah,
Espinoza.
and the Bison Range has a fee schedule too.
Okay. That's what we'll need then. That's what we just wanted to make sure so we could get the right amount that we're charging appropriately.
Well, I'd like to see what those are and bring it back and
Yes. Will do.
Mr. Chair,
go ahead, Bing.
you know, charging the people to use the powwow grounds. You know, that powwow ground's been there for as long as I can remember, or even longer. And they never used to get charged for using that place. And now, since fires come in there and start using it and whatnot, everything that they do now, there's a charge for it. You know, and I don't think it's right for us to be charging our own members to be using something that's been there forever. You know, and I just I just listen to this and it kind of upsets me that, you know, these grounds been there. I know Lands is in charge of it and whatnot, but I don't think there should be a charge for these, you know, even though there's electrical hookups and whatever, but that's not even, they're not even used at all, you know, except for during the powwow, you know, and I just think that, you know, that they want to use the powwow grounds for different events or whatever, to go ahead and let them do it.
Thank you, Bing. I totally understand that. The issues though that we are having out a lot of the power grounds is more the maintenance cost. You know, keeping up with a lot of the upkeep of this, and this would kind of offset some of that and balance it out a little bit. Not saying that we're gonna charge a humongous fee, but it could just be small fees of, tribal members, it's a free use with an admin fee. Non-members, something a little bit higher, and this would help out with that offset of, we've been putting quite a bit of money lately into both, powwow grounds, where hopefully this might kind of help maintain, if you will, hopefully in a way, but it's just something to kind of look at, but thank you, Bing.
And we'll have a chance to discuss that when they bring the numbers back to us too, so.
Okay, I also have one more and this is also on the powwow grounds in Arlee. This is for July 15th through the 19th. This is Vance Homegun and his Generation Church. They want to utilize it for a youth camp. They would also be requesting power and water. This is also something I just want to bring up for free use because it is a church youth, but we would charge them an admin fee. Just looking to see if approval can happen on that one.
Thoughts? Is there?
I agree with your recommendation. Do you need a motion?
Is there any objection? I don't think we have any objection to that.
Yay, thank you guys.
Go ahead, Danielle.
Mark, just a quick question. I see our burn piles down there, or the piles down in the pool yard are you guys, when do you guys plan on burning those? Or what are we doing? with
We
them?
were trying to work with fire control on that, trying to get the green light. We might be able to get to it next week if we do get the snow on that, like they're predicting this weekend. We just want to make sure it's secured. They did have to clean those piles first, because there was a lot of non-burnable debris that was put there, couches and some garbage and stuff, some furniture. They removed all that. They had to repile it to make it be able to be burnable. And they are wanting to get down there to burn it. They were just wanting to work with fire control to make sure that we're not violating any of their burn plans or anything. Since it is open burning and it is a pile, we should be able to do it, since it doesn't have to use the EA system that fire control does.
Follow-up question? I guess I have a question, and then it's probably stuff from the past, but like when they cut down all those trees down there, I'm sure that was contracted out to somebody to cut all those trees down. I guess why were they able to dispose of them just down in the pool yard and not somewhere else? Our contracts have disposal, like the way they're supposed to take care of those things when they're granted those contracts?
They usually are. This one was a little different than the normal contracts. This was the Dixon cleanup that they did. They were trying, the agency cleanup, I'm sorry. It was part of the agency, Dixon Agency's funding that they did. It was our test pilot project of going down there. There were a lot of the dead trees and whatnot there. So when we did have some of those removed, a lot of those trees were removed out, but some of them were not, because of what the charges were. And that was part of the hazard tree removal part when they're next to a house or anything. There are different rates, and disposal is another rate that they would pay for. That, well, the tribes would be paying for that removal. Those piles were also a lot of cottonwood that were being removed, so they were wanting to utilize them at the Longhouse or up in Elmo or at the senior centers for doing any kind of smoke and do some dry meat. So we had it stockpiled so we could get a lot of it hauled out. So then it was going to be burnt, and we just really haven't had the great snow cover down there like we want to. So if it does start to spark out or anywhere, it doesn't hit anything that's going to ignite. So that's why we need to have that wet weather down there.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Okay, Ruth is up now.
Morning, Ruth. Come on up.
Hey. Good morning. Tribal Health can pay for the use of the powwow grounds, trust me. Deep pockets. Request approval to purchase capital equipment for Tribal Health. Tribal Health is gonna replace their vial filling robots of about 165,000 plus each in Mission and Polson. So they request approval. It'll be expended to their ARPA, one of their many ARPA programs, specifically the lost reimbursements. That's what funded the majority of Ronan Health Center. So this equipment purchase is allocable there. Total estimated cost of $332,000. It is a non-competitive source because obviously this is not a regular item that could be procured from most sources. So that is requested for your approval.
You don't find these on Amazon?
I know. Or what's that other one, Temu? I wouldn't recommend that.
Go ahead, Tom.
Motion to approve the request.
Second by Martin. Question, Daniel?
It looks like the annual maintenance is like 12,000. I'm sure Tribal Health will be able to maintain that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
They would do that in their regular department budget, I would presume.
Okay.
All in favor? I got unanimous. Any idea what the cost of the old ones were that are wore out?
I do not. And it just seemed like we had only purchased those a few years ago. I would, I imagine they're doing a lot of work because the pharmacy workload is the greatest workload in that department. Yeah. Oh, that was more than a few years ago. My apologies. And Jennifer, I'm unable to scroll this. Am I? Oh. Lands messed it up. Just kidding.
You have to use the.
I'm gonna blame Tara. It's just kind of frozen there. Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. 13 is good. Okay. On this page, then, requesting approval modification 6. This is actually a net decrease, 430,729. You see on the table, there are some increases, such as in contracts and grants and in the Indian Affairs Compact. So that total net decrease, then changing the allocations accordingly, as seen on. Yeah, next page right now. Yes. Total allocations then reduced to 276,048,636.
Questions for Ruth? Martin?
Motion to approve modification 6 to the 2024 total allocations.
Motion by Martin, second by Tom. Any other questions or discussion?
Yeah.
All in favor? Looks unanimous.
Okay, very good. And the last one is authorizing an agreement with Fish and Wildlife Service with Water Compact funding to support the work of their biologist, the Fish and Wildlife Service biologist, beginning January of this calendar year and going through October 30th of 2031. Total amount estimated for that is 1,500,000 and I believe it is listed in there, 534,480. And you'll see in the attachments, the entire agreement and then how they estimated the cost for that support.
We're
good.
Go ahead, Len.
So how many years for this position, Ruth?
It says to begin January 1st of this year through October 30th of 2031.
2031.
Yes, sir. So 6 years and 10 months.
Other questions? Go ahead, Tom.
Motion to approve?
Got a motion to approve the 1.5 million to buy a fisheries biologist.
Pretty much.
Do I have a second?
Getting them done.
Second by Martin.
They really
all in
want to
favor?
work with us now.
Yeah, they don't.
We
I got another question. So what does that salary equate to? I mean, we're talking 6 years for $1 million.
Yeah, it looks like, and this, I apologize, this is not my document, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to squint. So on the, page 12 in your packet, it has the, budget projection. And it looks like the very first column says it's 87,000 for the position costs, and it has travel and training, supplies, a computer, office space, GSA vehicle, and so forth. So it looks like it's 136,000. And then there's an indirect cost on there as well, so. I know I had to immediately look at the term of the agreement when I saw the total. I thought for one biologist, and then So the amount of just the indirect looks like it's 286,000 over that 7-year period. So about 1.2 million for the position and operating costs.
I didn't see the actual vote, so who's all in favor? Carol? Yeah, Lynn?
Kinda, sort of.
Bing? A sort of is a 4.
Mhm.
It's unanimous. And,
Thank you.
I guess I got one question.
Yes, sir.
Is there a way we can just deliver it month by month?
What did the term
Rather
did it
than-
say we were
Rather
forwarding?
than the 1.5 million all at once, pay them month by month?
Is that what the agreement said? We would just transfer that?
That's what it's
Because I'm
feeling
used
like.
to more of a, yeah.
I'd like to know.
I
You
will
find
visit
that
with-
out.
Might be hard for them to get it all at once.
Well, we request from BTFA for that, so I would believe that the agreement itself would constitute their approval.
Right.
That they would agree that
Even-
Yes,
even-
the
even
tribe
if-
knows what it's doing when it does this, but, this was one of the things we discussed right after the statute was signed, was because we would need immediate support that might not be available within CSKT's house, and we talked about, especially for engineering or NEPA or anything of this sort, so it's kind of interesting that we moved ahead so fast on this one with Fish and Wildlife.
But even if we just delivered in yearly amounts, it'd be beneficial to us.
In financial management, that would kind of be our take on it as well, is that there's like a true up of this was what got performed, like a bill or an invoice, and then we would agree that that was performed and then pay accordingly. So you certainly look at what that would entail.
Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah, thank you.
That's that is a good break. Let's take 2 minutes break, bathroom break while they get set up. I was hoping we'd see Carol back. What? Yeah,
She's
she's
here.
here. She's here.
She's here. Oh. Martin's grabbing it.
And we can start now too, Stephen. Well, welcome, everybody. Yeah, we're ready, Stephen. Yep, you're on.
This is their son.
Yeah.
This their grand entry. Yes, 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 yes.
Lamb Specia, is this on? Chickswichawe, we're gonna pray for our trip down here. Just lemty it was, it's kwache luch chupen. Tamashe lukas good, you could get some ed. If you noon, I'm stuken with questions, skadi when with questions. Tamashe lukas good, because yeah, just lemty it was. Sia pu chupen, es was ja chupen. Tussen Pietzi, het was Tamatra es het u es het bench. Het is kusum, het is graag ukas me mayhem. I am glad here today. I asked the Creator to help us out, to come down here and bring our kids, our students down here, and I'm very happy. They practice all the time. And the Creator watch over us, upia, umi, wadasia, umi ku, upasia, what skadi. That's what we're after, you know. That's what we're after, the language. And are you guys good kids? Go now. And apesan suchnet skadi. They all, I asked them if they understand Indian. Pesia, pesan suchnet skadi. Kaunech. She lukas kosun kosum to open. We've been at the school and at Kusum, Norley, for 22 years. And we pushed the bowling alley away. So we had that one little building, then we pushed them all the way out. And we're happy. The inside, we wish that we get our kitchen done. I call it the basement. And after we get it done, I'd like to invite all of you councilmen there. You have to have a good excuse if you don't show up. And we'd like to show off that school. The inside is really nice, you know. And they wrote grants and we fixed it up and you guys helped out. And we started out with 3 children. And now we got 55 children. And that's cool, you know. They've been doing a lot of work and a lot of hard work. We got about, I think, 12 teachers there teaching. So, and I miss the late Pat Pierre. I and him used to sit here quarterly and talk about our children, our school. It's just not our school, it's everybody's school. And it went on beyond that. It started there, and now it's in Ronan and Mission and language. And I hope we keep it up, and Elmo's got theirs too. So I wish we'd keep going. So we got our little chief over here. What was quest?
You let me him.
Oh, this is our little chief, right? Oh, are you chief too? Well, just say, I like that. Just say your name.
Tilden.
What?
Tilden.
Okay. And, huh? Okay, they're gonna sing. Yeah. Echo, you know, when I get a hold of this mic, I'm gonna have the councilman, stay over because we were supposed to start right at 10 o'clock, right? Chairman, don't say no. Okay, they're gonna sing now and you, Echo, you need the mic or not? Okay. Okay, she's the boss. You know how it is. You guys could sit down. Yes, the Indian Sign Language. Where'd the rest of the councilmen go? We're not finished.
We got a couple of them on the computer.
Okay, the Miller's gonna talk about these two champions here. Where'd you go? Outside? Here's the mic. Squeeze. I'm not gonna introduce them. That's your children.
Hesco Expesia, Ismael, Jesse, Wiley. They're gonna tell you a little bit about how they did in their rodeos this past summer. They had some pretty big exciting things happen for both of them. So I'll let Jesse kind of talk about what event he'll introduce himself and then his event and what finals he made it to. And then Wiley, he'll kind of go over the same thing. So here's E. Squisette Jesse.
Hesco Expesia, Jesse Peak, Squest, Chinas, Upanath, and Kusbench, Sukumam, to Inchesos, Jean Beaverhead, Skelly Quest, to Chivisi Chinox, Lemlam Speciat. Oh yeah. I made it in Saddlebronc. I've been Saddlebronc. Well, I started Saddlebronc riding I think about 2 years ago, and I made it to Vegas once I think in the Saddlebronc. No, twice in the Saddlebronc, and I've got fifth each time, and I've dang near won it. My cousin won it. They bumped me up because, well, I was bigger than everybody, bigger than the horses that they put me on, so they bumped me up a bracket. I've been jerked down, I've been hung up, been dragged around, I broke my arm this summer. Thank you.
What's my turn?
Hesco Expesia, Wiley E. Peak, Louis Quest, Chines in PLC. It's not scamming. Who and Kusum, Chin S, Chines, Etnam, Spench, and, oh yeah. And, I made it to I ride bareback in Saddlebronc, and I made it to Arizona Wickenburg, uh, Kiwi World Finals. I I got there 3 times and I won. And and I won this year. I won. I won. I won a buckle and $900. Oh, and I won the Pee Wee Bareback World Champion. Oh, you want to
These are our two champions. This one here, they're going to show off show their belt buckles. You could go around there and show them. And we're really proud of these two, they do a lot of riding. We're proud of them at the school, and they had a big poster about this big. We forgot to bring them, so their mom and their dad brings them everywhere. The buckles. You want say something else?
Um, they're both pretty shy, but they did pretty good. They kind of understate their accomplishments. Um, the the association that we bring them to is called the Junior Rough Stock Association, and they compete against 4 countries, so US, Canada, Mexico, and Australia. Wiley's division is called Pee Wee, so that's kids 6 to 8, and he competed against 4 countries and kids all across the United States. And he won the Pee Wee World Championship, which was he rode 3 bareback horses, minis, so they're on the ponies, and he had the highest aggregate score. And then Jesse qualified for the Junior World Finals in the saddle bronc, but they call it it's kind of like the Junior NFR, so it was held the same time as the big NFR in Las Vegas, and he did really good. Like he said, he got bumped up because of size, not age, so they pushed him up to bigger horses. Kind of had a wreck earlier in the summer, so he didn't get to practice as much, but it was a really big deal. And Pete and I are super proud of him, so we're gonna go again this summer after wrestling. So they both have state wrestling this weekend too. But yeah, it was pretty exciting. Lunch. Are there any questions for either of them?
Yeah, I just want to say how proud I am of Jesse and Wiley. Sorry. And I know you guys had cake and things down at the school, and we all felt really bad because we all had a scheduled appointment that we had to make it, but we were sure thinking about you and proud of you and your parents for being so close together. I mean, you come from a horse family and riding and doing all those things. And so, yes, it's really good to share. And I'm sure the other kids look up to you and hope that they are able to do the same thing, with horses and stuff, because it's really rewarding when you get around horses and work with them. So, but thank you, young men. You guys make us all proud. I mean, you're part of the Salish Kootenai Nation, and whatever you need when you go, flags or whatever, just make sure you let us know in advance, and so we can watch you on TV also if we get a chance. So thank you. Proud of you.
Lum. Say ahoy. Lum.
Oh, well, let's go up. Dams are open. Good morning, you 8, not 10, 8. I see Bing's on here. So I'll just come and say, give you kind of a little bit of update on what we've been kind of doing for the last year or two. Of course, things started off slow after COVID, but we're getting right back into it. As Stephen said earlier, our 22nd year. This year we have 54 students, which pretty much puts us at capacity. We don't have enough room. Teachers, we try to keep like 6 to 1, 7 to 1 if we can. We do have 14 staff on hand, 45 from K through 8 and 9 preschool. Preschool didn't come with us. They usually don't come because we just don't have the room for transporting. When time for Speckland this spring, then we'll find them a way and we'll get them down to Sloan's Bridge so they can come with us. That, or when we go to Medicine Tree, we kind of broke away from going with the whole group because we have so many now. Kind of overwhelms the eating places in Hamilton where everybody's there. And so we're at pretty much full capacity. We have one graduate gonna graduate this year, which I think will put us up to 21 altogether since we started. And we're gonna have 6 coming up from preschool, so that'll even make us more crowded, I guess you could say. And we do have quite a few youngsters that went through our school that are doing very, very well out there, using language, culture, and everything. So that's that part. And then we have, we did some presentations this year. Alberton called us. We went to Alberton and spent a couple hours there, and they were really happy that we could make it. And we could share a little bit of our native ways and culture with them. They were very respectful. When we take our kids anywhere, they always do really well. We usually have no issues at all for their behavior or anything else. So I'm always proud of them when we go to places like this, like Alberton. They went to a place in Missoula, Myrna Dumontier, she helps with this animal rescue thing in Arlee, and they did a presentation there. And again, they did very, very well. They gave the school a little bit of money, but we always spend all that on lunch for them when we're on the way back. So we don't make nothing doing these, but it's good to get us out there. So throughout the year, we have 3 or 4 mini powwows, and they have a culture class with Alan Pierre, and I think we almost have all the kids with the dance outfit nowadays, if they want to. Then we have the ones that drum, and then on first Fridays of every month, we have a culture day where we bring in the parents, to come and help the kids so they can even make their outfits better, make whatever they need. You see a lot of the kids have ribbon skirts. A lot of those were made there. And you guys probably all seen our tribal paper. We just come back from the Sailors Conference here a few days ago, and they got several pictures of our bunch over there. Stephen Carsey's in every paper. We got our kids. Yeah, I know it. Our kids. I forgot what the other one was. Alan showed me. I didn't get my paper yet. I got up too late. But Sailors Conference, we took all of the elders, and then of course a lot of the elders have siblings, but they had to come with their parents, and they made it. All of them made it we had a very good representation of Nkusim down there. And like I said before, the Nkusim kids did great. They got up on stage and sang. We had 2 of them getting a karaoke. They only had 4 days to learn their Sailors karaoke, so they had a little trouble, but You know, it takes a lot to get up in front of 6, 7, 800 people, especially at their age. So they did really well. They were well behaved, and it was good. So, you know, that's my little talk. Just wanted to let you guys know a little bit of what we're doing this year, and that's just part of it. I mean, I could take this thing like this guy and talk for a long time, but I'm gonna let Cheney finish off my list. And thank you for listening to me.
Gast schurgap pesia, lam shwil, lesia, skudlam, wil kas en kuskali, wil kas tudlu, yapen kas lamtu, wil kas zamel, wil kas meet mayem, wil ka piprot, wil ka chupen, wil kas sin kuskali. We're just, you know, really thankful for what we're able to do for our children, for our language. And we're always thankful for the council, past and present, the support that you've given, not only in Kusum, but for all of the language efforts that are going on. I've been to a lot of reservations that they don't have no support, and they struggle. You know, every nation is trying to bring back their language, but they don't have the support that we get here, and they struggle. So we're thankful. All the language efforts that you guys are supporting, we're all thankful for that. And then Kusum, you know, just we keep moving forward. You know, we have our ups and downs. This is very difficult work. Teaching kids, it can be a lot of energy and a lot of work, but when you are trying to learn a language and then pass that language on, we've put a lot on the shoulders of our elders. And we're thankful for them, thankful for Pat and Sophie and Stephen and Jean. And at this difficult moment with our language, I was just talking to Stephen about this. We have some difficult discussions about the moment in time that we're put in, that we're here, that Stephen, Jean are some of our last speakers, and to have that weight on their shoulders is something I can't understand. The weight of trying to keep the language alive is a lot, but to be one of the last speakers, and we're just thankful that they give to us. So, you know, our school, we just keep moving forward and doing the best we can as Kweitlamisti. We're doing our best, but we have dreams and hopes that our children will become fully fluent, our teachers will become fully fluent, and that all of our people at some point have the opportunity to learn their language at some level. I think all of our people deserve that. It's at no fault of anybody's, of our people, that we don't have it. We all know the history that our people have been through, and it's been very difficult. And I think all of our people should have that opportunity at some level. And I think you have been very supportive of that. So real quickly, some of the things again that we're doing with at Kusum. We have a grant, Vadon grant, that we've been getting for quite a few years. They are very awesome supporter of our school. They support only language stuff throughout the Northwest. And in fact, they've actually moved out into Eastern Montana. They're starting to spread out that money a little bit more, but they're supporting pretty much only language efforts right now, which is pretty cool. They're out of a Washington foundation. And they're supporting a lot of things we do in the summer. So last summer we went to the Buffalo Jump and did a summer language program, and then also did a canoe project. And we're going to continue that this summer. We're for sure going to, they call it a salmon ceremony. We're going to go there and not participate in the whole thing. It's about a week and a half long paddle, but we will go with 4 days with our students and staff and some other people. And we'll also participate with the Kalispel Tribe canoe journey that is right before their annual powwow. And that's about a 5-day journey. We did it last year and kind of broke in our canoes that we have. It was a very awesome experience, and we're planning on bringing a few more people this year to share that experience. We were wanting to do something here. We have not made those plans. We have a little bit of money to do something, and there's another group on the reservation doing some canoe stuff. And we've been visiting with them about doing something on our reservation. If we do, we'll definitely be back to visit with you guys. We've done a few small things like day stuff with our canoes, but we want to actually do a canoe journey where we go from one point to another over a few day period. We've talked about starting on the lake, doing from like Blue Bay to Salish Point, going from, past the rapids, a couple days, maybe to Perma. But our goal is to eventually get to Lake Ponderay and then continue with those tribes down their canoe journeys. And the big group that's doing this, their big dream is to go from everybody start at their place and go to the ocean at some point, within the next 20 years is a big dream. So we're continuing the canoe journey. We're doing we got Buffalo Jump on here, but we actually, we call it a summer culture trips, place name trip, where we go somewhere as a summer school group, whoever can make it, the kids, we pay for all the kids, their families, and our staff. And we've invited council has been on some of these trips with us. We're thinking about maybe going over to the Big Hole. We've talked about maybe even just into the Swan Valley, but try to visit somewhere. We haven't made our decision what we're doing this summer, but somewhere that we don't usually make it to. And then every summer we get to go somewhere else. So, Glacier Park's on our list, down the river. There's just so many different places, but we're kind of thinking maybe the Big Hole this year to go through the Bitterroot, visit some sites in the Bitterroot, and then over to the Big Hole. And the Coeur d'Alene tribe met with us at the Buffalo Jump last year, and they want to know what we're doing this year again, and they're probably going to join us again. They have a little youth group, so. We're also going to do a summer language program. And this kind of goes into the language too, the language update, but this summer, every day staff gets to come in and meet with Stephen for an hour. Every staff member every day get an hour of language to continue their journey on learning, to help them get better and become better speakers. And but it's just an hour, and some people are further than others. Everybody's on a different place in their journey. But we kind of, since I've been there, we've kind of, within this curriculum model that we've talked about in the past, I kind of know where everybody is. And so we keep pushing them through that curriculum, along with getting immersion with Gene and Stephen. And right now we kind of know where everybody is. And this summer we're hoping to line it up where there'll be 4 students that do a little bit more intensive throughout the summer. So that's kind of our summer and some language stuff. The kitchen and the playground, you guys have heard a lot about the kitchen. It is done. It's completely, I shouldn't say complete, it's done, but not completely done. And you keep hearing that. So all that we need is the electrician to come in, do the final hookup. But the crew that had come in and they finished everything, everything's hooked up. Soon as the electrician finishes, he came in last week, he said he'll finish it this week. Hopefully he does. And then the crew that put everything in, I guess they're gonna come in and they're gonna turn everything on, and they're gonna have the fire marshal from Missoula come in. They know that like legally they don't have to on the reservation, but he just said his name's on this equipment and on this stuff, and he wants to make sure it's all good. So the fire marshal is gonna inspect it, and then they're gonna do a walkthrough with our staff on how everything works and the safety shut off. So it is almost done, and so it has been a tough thing for our cook with our growth in students, and he has two stoves that he uses, and it just is very difficult. It takes a long time to boil big things of water. And so he has struggled for the last about 6 years cooking on those things. He's went through they just go through, those stoves go quick. They're just, standard stoves. So he is so excited and just been very patient. I know everybody's been patient. But COVID kind of was crazy for everybody. So in the playground, we had some playground equipment that had been sitting there for a while and we just were trying to raise money. We were slowly raising money. We finally raised the money. We installed it. Then we got some more donations and we bought some more, everybody was excited. They bought some slides and different things. And so we're raising money to install that. We're pretty sure we have some different people that are gonna pay for that to be installed, and we have some RLE people that are gonna donate some time. So that should hopefully be in this summer. So there's some new playground equipment that was installed last summer, and then we'll have some new stuff this summer. Then, in our language update, I kind of talked about how everybody gets to come in. But that is the reason why the school exists. And I do want to acknowledge we have some board members and parents, past board members here. Steve Arca, Melanie Sandoval are here. They're on our board. Kelly Rose Obenek and Tasha Lee is also on our board. We have 4 board members right now. And we just we exist for our language. But when we had a talk this past summer, and because in this language journey, we take on the responsibility of children, they come first over anything. Their safety, their well-being, creating a happy, positive place for them is number one. And then getting them the language. And so we exist to give our children the language. In that journey, we have to teach our adults, we have to learn ourselves, and do a lot of other things with running a school. But that's why we exist, to get the language to our children, and we are doing everything we can at this moment. We are still in the process. I have visited with Carol a little bit. We're trying to catch up with her about, we really do want a pilot school in Ronan, in the Ronan area. Right now, we're just in the process of looking for a spot where that would be. We've kind of developed a budget, and we're kind of thinking we can run another school with the budget we have. If it grows, which we put one in Ronan, it'll definitely grow, and you'll see us again if that happens. But we're raising money. One of the big things we did last summer is we started an endowment. We have not announced it. When I first went back to work there, Melanie have talked about an endowment since day one of starting the school. And the board supported it, and we had some reserve money, and we put it into an endowment through the Montana Community Foundation. I'm Angelique Alberts. If you guys know Angelique, she used to work for the foundation at SKC and now is doing awesome things all over. But she is going to help me put out a letter of telling the community that we have this endowment, and then doing a little bit of a push to put some more money into it. Yeah, so that's kind of just a quick update, and that's all I have. And I don't know if Steven has any final words. Lemlam Trapesiat.
See, I got 2 mics. That's pretty nice, I hope next time I have 3 mics. But anyway, Gosam's come a long ways. We do our best, We moved bowling alley out of there, and when we get that fixed, that basement, we hope to invite everyone, just like I said a little while ago, to see what it looks like inside, And that inside really looks different, So anyway, today I was happy that most of the councilmen were here. And when it's fixed, I hope you guys all come down. And these guys, they joined with us, Washington. They built and made 2 canoes, and they followed them in there, because they're Ponderay, and we got some Ponderay up here, so we followed them down there. I didn't, but they did. And that was great, to share with them. And when we went up to Spokane, see, one of them showed up there, for the language, and we share, we always share the language. So today I'm very happy to be here and to see you, all the councilmen here. And the things, not just that, but they scrape hides, they smoke hides, they down at the school. They do a lot of things, It's not just language, it's other stuff, You heard those kids drumming and they fix drums and they do a lot of things, So it's a culture, language culture too. So they go hunting, they do a lot of stuff they've learned, So that's the thing is, it's great, Like I said, I've been up there going on 22 years, 23 years in Goosen, the four started it. And Pat and Sophie, Mays, Kwikwisu, we lost both of them. So now today I'm still here. I'm just like Pat Pierre. You can't get rid of me until when I pass away, carry me out, And that's the way I feel, It's a tough language, And today I'm just happy and for all of you and thank you for bringing the donuts. I'm still high yet, And about another 5 minutes, I'll get meaner in hell, These guys know, And did you introduce yourself? This is Gene Beaverhead. They don't know you. This is Gene Beaverhead. Pete Beaverhead raised him, Him and Chauncey, They raised these two. And I remember when he was a baby and I changed his diaper, He doesn't know it, But he come back and he's going to go to work for Nkusa. I'm telling on him, So anyway, his name is Gene Beaverhead, and it's good to have him. And we have our in and out, especially with me getting old, 85 this coming year, And I was explaining my dad, my mom, my grandfather, they were so nice, What the hell happened to me, And maybe it was the councilman, I don't know, it just up there. So that's all I got to say, but I'm happy to be here and we got a lot of things to do this summer. So anyway, and one more thing. It's okay, Jane? Oh yeah, I'm way older than you. My sweat house. Yeah, I want it built and it's not on that paper. Yeah, and my sweat house, I'd like to have boards, on it, and people come up there and said, it would be so fast to put a plastic, That's where we pray to the Creator. You guys know, that we pray to the Creator, but you just putting the plastic on it, Make a building, good building. So that's all I got to say, and thank you for listening. Zamzam.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Nkusa. And we're in recess for lunch.
Okay.
Thank you all for what you do and all the teachers, everything that you do for these children. It's amazing to watch. It's beautiful. I had the opportunity to go with these guys on the Buffalo Jump, also the mini powwows, and I got to ride in on the boats from the last leg into the last powwows. So it was pretty cool. The things you guys do it's amazing and really proud of you. I'm proud of the kids. Just don't ever give it up. Oh, and by the way, if you decide to build that trailer, let me know. I got a welder and I got everything. I'll bring it down there and we'll work on it. Maybe we can get these guys to give us some steel. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I want to put a double deck with some artwork on it, you know, make it nice one. Anyway, never mind.
Tell Franny he's gotta come next time. Franny. But really, Cheney, I think you and I have talked about this a lot about you guys create a really good environment there, a nice safe space, and that's really important for kids to learn and thrive. And there's a lot of pride that they have, and you can see that everywhere they go. And you guys are doing a good job of instilling that in there and making them proud, but also humble, I think. So, not much for that.
Question for Janie, maybe Melanie. Remember years ago, Total Felsman gave, she said, gonna give land for the school to be built there. What's happened with that?
Yeah, she did. And, but when we went to, cause we talked about building a school there, and when we went and really looked at it, that land had been put into, some sort of easement, like, wildlife or not, something that we could, conservation, I think that's what it was, yeah. And we couldn't build on it, so she felt bad. So right now we've just we put quite a bit of money into into the building we have. It still kind of looks a little dull on the outside, but the inside it's come a long ways, and I think it still has the potential for a few more years. But yeah, that's what happened.
I look forward to the Ronan facility, so let's get it going,
If anybody ever runs across a place, I mean, for example, I don't know what's going on with the old Second Circle spot, but if it's condemned or whatever, but something like that pops up, we right away we just want it to be small, 2 teachers, like 8 kids at the most for a few years, just to get it established and work the bugs out, and just to make that move is a lot to do. It's even hard on when we talk about it in staff. It's hard. Like, they don't want to see any of us go. It just affects everything, but then everybody understands the importance. So, I mean, Ronan is such a big community. It has the biggest population. A lot of our kids are already bused from Ronan. It's just a very, obvious thing to do. So if anybody ever runs into any kind of building that's a potential, we'd appreciate if you let us know.
We have some acreage next to a future home of a meat processing plant. Make some good dry meat there.
I'm just curious about your collaboration with the apprentice program. Do they come in and help and help teach the kids?
So, Melanie's here. She's leading that effort right now, and there was behind the scenes things that I've kept to myself because of the importance of the language and right now I'm just in complete support of everything Melanie and the culture committee is doing. And we continue to have a relationship. I have been there a little bit. We still communicate with them. We send our kids to the language camp. But the potential is, in fact, me and Melanie were just talking out here about about a new school, and if the apprentices could maybe, how would they be part of that? The students coming out of the 2-year program. But there's also, we did a strategic plan 2016. I think it was a 30-year plan, and we're already into it about a little over 10 years, I think, or 2016, or what is that? Or 8 years. Sorry. But we need to revisit that as the language world, and because we've made some strides. The school, the adult program is the biggest key to what we're doing with language revitalization, and I just hope that they continue to do what they're doing, and they get their support, and we will do our best to collaborate with them. So we definitely communicate with the adult program, though. We do. Yep.
Sorry.
Right here.
Oh, I just want 30 seconds. So my whole goal, and I know Cheney's and a lot of people, is to build a language community. And sometimes we have to wear different hats in that community. So we have students at SKC, which I'm a part of. I'm an adjunct as well, and we have people getting their degrees. We have the apprentice program at the Culture Committee. Some of that overlaps. We have in OSUM, and we have Head Start. So there's a lot of entities out there that I feel like, when we work together, we can build this community. And I think that sometimes maybe there's a little misunderstanding on who is doing what. But I just want to let you guys know that although I haven't been up here because I'm also going to school at the university, so I'm like all these different things. But I do think that it's a very positive and a good thing that all of our efforts are we work together. So we were just at the bison range, our apprentices, and we were talking to Steph, and we're like, we need to create some more stuff up there. I'd love to work with the different departments and see what they've had. So we don't want to recreate things that somebody else may have. But if we could work together, and if you guys had suggestions or thoughts, I'm totally open to that. And it's just sometimes hard when we are through different programs, and these guys know too, through whatever school you're running, just like Cheney said, kids come first, and sometimes that's hard because the language learning is kind of in the back a little bit, and then you put that forward. And so that's been with everything that we've done. But we've been doing this for years and years and years, and I think we're on a track. And we had gone to Kotzebue, Alaska one year, and they told us, you guys can plan for 20 years and you'll make mistakes, but you could go home and start and you'll still make mistakes, but at least you'll have started. And I believe that's what we're doing as in OSUM and as the college and at the culture committees and other things. We're going forward, and and hopefully, us working together like this will bring a lot of these efforts together, and we do have a really positive community. So yeah, I just wanted to put my 2 cents in there. 2 cents.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, thank you.
45 seconds.
Thank you.
Oh, no. Adios, amigos.
Oh, no, no, no.
The first resolution,
First resolution, Mr. Chairman, is for the Shoreline Protection Officer to appoint Michael Trosper as a temporary hearings officer.
by James. Second by Tom. All in favor? It's unanimous.
Second one, I wasn't quite sure. I think that was one of Councilwoman Langford's resolutions.
Can you read the title to that, Jen? Resolution to support establishment of the Montana-Wyoming Tribal Health Board.
I haven't really been part of the discussions on that, but I really don't understand because we currently have a Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders Health Subcommittee. And which kind of serves the same purpose as this board. So I'm not sure if they want to, I mean, how this works. I mean, is it,
Did you want me to get Patricia Hibbler down here? She's the one that done the resolution.
that's up to council. I mean, I just don't know right now.
Well, I know we talked about this, how long ago was it? Probably about a month ago that it's actually discussed. I don't know all of the authorities of the health board, but there's quite a few other health boards around the nation set up with tribes. I'm not familiar with the health committee, with Tribal Leaders Health Committee. I don't know how they would interact.
Well, it's the Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders Health Committee, which is kind of a spin-off from the Montana Wyoming Tribal Leaders. So I'm not sure if their intent is, if this is to be funded by the Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders organization or not, or if it's gonna be financially supported by them. Or who funds the board is I guess what I'd like to know before we approve this, because, I know we're gonna talk about it next week, okay? So I could probably find my answer then.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, James.
I thought she said she's presenting it to somewhere on Thursday, next Thursday.
Okay,
I don't know, remember, I just remember her saying something about all the different tribes are presenting it to where Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders, I don't know.
I guess my primary question is how is it being funded?
Patty's
You
on
know,
her way down.
One of, as the, you know, cause I'm on the board of directors and this has not been brought up as a resolution to fund a new board that we already currently have. So I don't understand. Maybe this is something with the new drug treatment center. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't see any problem with this council moving forward with the resolution, but, the issue with funding from Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders is something totally different that we'll address next week.
And it's true that the committee you have is made up of tribal leaders. And I'm not sure that maybe this is made up of health experts. I don't know. So if Patty's coming down, we can wait for a little explanation. Come on up.
Hi Patty, we were just discussing the resolution for the Montana Wyoming Tribal Leaders Health, our Montana Wyoming Tribal Health Board that, that is being proposed because there was some question, I had some questions on how this is, different between the Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders Health Subcommittee and this board.
And the board that they want to create?
Yes.
Okay. The way I understand, and I'm not part of that discussion at Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders that occurred a while ago, and Carol made the motion to create this new organization. Some of what I understand is it will be a more of an advocacy and lobbying group that will come together that will really give them much more collaborative effort and be moving forward on the same page as what we see with many of those other kind of statewide and regional organizations like that are out there, such as the Great Plains has one, Portland has one, Arizona has one with their tribes, et cetera. And I think that's what I'm hearing has been the effort behind this for quite a while.
Well, in regards to that, I know the Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders currently has a health subcommittee that represents all of the regions, such as the ones you just mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know if, I
Okay.
don't know what's in Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders Charter or what that looks like or what they're able to do and not be able to do. Those are just some of the actions that I'm hearing from the people at those meetings that they want to see happen moving forward.
Okay. I guess the other question is why we're having two similar health committees that serve the same purpose and have the same objectives. I don't get it, so.
Yeah, I think those
But-
are good questions to ask at the meeting
That's-
next week.
Yep.
Joel will be there with this resolution and there probably will have some signed by other tribes, I would guess. And that would be the right group to have that conversation with.
Yep. Understood. Thank you, Patty.
But I think a lot of it is that higher level advocacy and lobbying education collectively. And I think there's been lots of conversations also between Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders Health Subcommittee and also the American Indian Health Leaders. I don't even know if it's a board, that group also, because there's a lot of some overlap there. I do know that and I haven't seen the report, but with the American Indian Health Leaders, they were asked, before I came, they hired Dr. Don Warren to come and do an analysis of the education and advocacy and kind of the movement in health here in Montana and overlay it with the amount of work those other organizations do, like the Great Plains Health Board, Portland Area Health Board, etc. And a lot of those high-level education and advocacy pieces were non-existent here in the structures here in Montana. And that report by Dr. Don Warren is really leading a lot about why this new organization should be created.
Thank you, Patty. Well,
I don't know if that answers your question, but that's how I understand it.
We do have the resolution as presented by Carol and some good questions from Lynn. I don't know if it needs, sounds like it needs to be voted on before it's carried to wherever Thursday. So, I would entertain a motion for it, if somebody wants to make that motion. If not, we can, okay, motion by James to move forward with the Montana Wyoming Health Board. Second by anybody? Second by Tom. And other points besides what Lynn's already brought up? Yeah, Tom.
We're just funding it. It's gonna be funded by whom or whatever.
Great question. So as I understand, there will be some startup funds from the Montana Foundation. And then it will be it'll be its own nonprofit. So they'll be doing their own fundraising and organizing.
And Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, and I'd like to see Lynn's questions answered as well, and I realize Carol's the one that, but you know, she said that they were presenting it to tribal leaders next week. I'm not sure.
Actually, the motion was made at the last Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders meeting. So, and I believe Carol made the motion, as I understand.
Given that, we call for the question, all in favor? Lynn's abstaining. Jimmy's abstaining. In favor, Carol, I would assume is in favor. Bing,
Abstain.
abstain. Jennifer? Okay, she did, that's true. So that makes 5-4 and 6-4 and 4 abstaining.
What are you counting my vote as, Mike?
Oh, Martin. Yeah, what do you want, Martin?
I want more information, so I guess I have to vote against it.
Okay, so that means we have, 5 for, 1 against, and 4 abstains. That was it. I guess that means it carries. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Quick, so we got a email from Lindsay and Chelsea regarding, the proposal from Homeland Security's bill regarding border crossing. Essentially, they were proposing that you would, if you have less than 50% blood quantum of Indian blood, you would have to get a visa to cross. Is that how you understood it, Mr. Chairman?
You wouldn't be able to cross just as on your tribal ID, like they can now. You'd have to just have whatever it takes for a citizen to cross.
A
And
visa.
you would not be able to work and stay. You'd have to get a work visa or whatever any of those are, yeah.
Okay, and so I was reading the Kootenai Tribe of Idaho's response, and I think we need to send a similar response. I mean, 'cause that is a huge impact to us if that proposal passes. And I'm not really sure what the hearing process is and how that bill is gonna be or how that proposal is gonna be voted on. But we definitely need to get our comments in there, on not supporting this. And, we need to be very, very, blunt about it. Kind of similar to what Kootenai Tribe of Idaho responded.
I hope everybody has a chance to read that. I'm in agreement with Len and 99% of their letter. So definitely read that, and I hope we decide to put a letter together and get it out there. More comments, betcha. Go ahead, Tom.
Len, what was the deadline? I don't remember the deadline. Is there a time frame we need to work within?
I'm not sure.
Just as soon as possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can ask, Chelsea and Lindsay to draft a response for us.
Then, Mr. Chair,
Hi, James.
then realize when you go into Canada, their rules are different than what coming back. So you might be able to get into Canada with the tribal ID, but you may not be able to get back in with it.
Yeah.
And so one of the instances that we ran into in the last year was going into Canada because it didn't have a barcode on the back of it. When the Canadian Customs tried to scan it, they were kind of confused about it. So they said, if you bring in a birth certificate with your tribal ID, then it'll be more likely could use it. But because it didn't have a barcode on the back that they could scan, it threw them off. And then coming back to the States, they were kind of like, we don't know. It's helpful that it's got the enhanced ID part of it, but there's not a real clear understanding with all the border crossings as to, even if we do submit our words and such, it seems like each border crossing is particular. There's not like a standard informational that they can go to or in their computer system. It seems Canadians have a different understanding in US side, and But I agree with Len, we should send some comments in.
Tribal consultation sessions are May sixth, May tenth, May fifteenth, May twenty-third. Written and oral comments are gonna be accepted till July 9th. Anything else?
Last one on that, let's just adopt our own passport like they did in the New York tribes did. Yeah. I seen it, here's our passport, and then getting it recognized is another thing, but. They got like 5 countries.
Thank you all. Fine.
So do we have somebody working on getting the advertisement out there for an election board subcommittee person?
We're talking about that after the main talk on Monday.
Monday.
That's when we scheduled to talk about how we will invite all those folks to be part. I think James just made the motion. We're adjourned.